Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hollywoodland22. How are you doing today? Should be interesting tonight, huh? I wonder who's going to come in. Maybe one of your friends, Ashley. You never know. You never know who's going to come in. What to do? What to do? Stay in North Carolina? Move next year? Go to Arizona? Go to Texas? Do something crazy like go back to California? I don't think California is something I'm going to do next year. They got some fixing to do over there. Things out of my control. I do miss it though. I miss those days. Back in like the late 80s, 90s, 2000s. I remember that Los Angeles, California. It was different. A little bit more air pollution, but it had its issues, but it was different. Yeah, I might go back out west. Not sure where. Not sure if it's Nevada or Texas or Arizona. I do like the desert climate. I have a little bit of knee pain. I played sports in high school. So what's everyone doing tonight? It's going to be a new year pretty soon. Are you going to stay put? Are you going to stay put? Or are you going to move? Just hanging out? Everyone, hello. Manzor Shirazi. I sub and like. Hello, that's wonderful. Voice of Reason. Mansoor Shirzai dash M2 G8M. Hi, how are you doing? Welcome into Hollywoodland22. I've been doing a lot of research. You can't rely on hearsay. It'll take me about 9 months of research before I decide whether or not I'm going to relocate to somewhere else in the United States. This country is really different now. It's not the same place as it was like before 2010. It was a different place. It was a place that I pretty much understood my country, but like after 2010, there's been a lot of changes, just culturally. And one of the things I noticed is a lot of people in a lot of parts of the United States. I'm well traveled in my country. Used to have regional accents that would speak English like with using certain idioms and phrases and different accents, the way they talk, different sayings and things like that. It's not so much that way anymore in a lot of places. In Appalachian Mountains, there's still a lot of old Scotch Irish sayings and accents. In the deep South, to a certain degree. But when you go, there's not as much of a thick New York accent as there used to be, or a distinct Philadelphia accent there used to be, or a Tidewater accent, like around Eastern Shore, Maryland, parts of Virginia, in the Washington, D.C. area. There used to be actually different little English accents. It was interesting. That was more back in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. You would hear that. Even Southern California had an accent. I remember that. Those things are starting to vanish. They're going away. Going far away. JJ May Banks SSS. What's up? Case Osborne -I20. Hi. How are you doing? Welcome to Hollywoodland22. That's my channel name. Hollywoodland22. Where's everybody from? Let's find out. It is, let's see. It is 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Charlotte, North Carolina. Do we have any West Coast people here? I wonder. Oh, you in Washington, D.C.? That's where my grandparents and my parents grew up. Well, around there. My grandfather grew up in D.C. And yeah, he grew up in D.C. Up at the top there, right before you get into Tacoma Park and everything like that. My parents are from Prince George's County. You know where that is. Devon Butts. I know PG County pretty well, Montgomery County. I used to bounce around there when I was a teenager in my 20s. I remember when they built, do you remember when they built like in Silver Spring where the old mall used to be? And they built that new mall with the Marshalls and the Ross and all that stuff. I helped build that. I was a young guy. I helped build that shit. Roy Garrison said hi. Yeah, it used to be like an older mall, and they rebuilt that. There's a Marshalls, a Ross, and a Nordstrom Rack. They had the anchor stores were like these discount stores, and they got like a big old train station thing there near the high-rise apartments and stuff. I think the Red Line subway comes through there. Dude, I'm so old. I remember before they even had the Red Line, Orange Line, any of them lines. They didn't used to have that. They built those like in the, I think they started building those like in the, when did they build those damn things? Like around when I got out of high school, like around like 84, they started building like the subways and stuff around there. They needed to anyway. I mean, they used to have like trolleys and stuff, but they built the subways. They were faster. They go right up underneath the Smithsonian and stuff. And you got the little elevators, escalators that go up into the mall where all the museums are and all that stuff. 85, kid. Oh, you were born in 85? That's a year after I got out of high school. I remember, they had what was that? There used to be a nightclub that was on F Street where they got a lot of stores and stuff on F Street in DC. And there used to be this old bank from the ancient times, like from back in the 1800s and stuff. It was an old bank, right? On F Street. And they had a second level that had like a little place you could walk out and look out on the street. On the balcony, it was a discotheque that they made out of an old bank. I don't even know. It was awesome. I used to go there. I think they probably still have all those discos down there. But I haven't been there in a while. Since like I went back. I was living out in Los Angeles, and then I came back to like Prince George's County. I was living there, taking care of my grandmother for a little while, and then I split. That's the last time I was around there. I haven't been around there in a long time. Woo. What's this stuff? There's a mute. Now we're going to unmute this. I got to fix this up. Oh, we're going to get this all fixed up. Yo. What's this? What's that backwards? Okay, there we go. Let's put this right here. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. I'll be singing that song, but you won't catch me in McDonald's, man. I don't know what they have in the hamburgers. I have no idea. It's not like your parents tell you, like, they say, oh, we're going to McDonald's. You're like, oh, yeah, we're going to McDonald's. I can hardly wait to go. Can I have some French fries on a Sunday? But when you get older, you start reading about McDonald's on some new invention called TikTok, right? People start telling scary stories about McDonald's, man. What's it called? Soylent Green or something like that. Some term they're using. Some creepy stuff they're talking about. I think they just use soybeans in their meat. I don't think it's all beef, but I could be wrong. Maybe it is beef. Maybe they just have some weak cows and stuff like that. Because I can make my own hamburger and stuff. It tastes way better than McDonald's. Okay. I don't know about you. You subbed? Oh, you did? Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Liking and subscribing to Hollywoodland22 is wonderful. I really do like it when you do that. Thank you very much. You're a driver. When you subscribe to Hollywoodland22, you're a driver. You're a winner. Things are going to change for you. I can feel it. Braxton Play, RBLX. I remember you. I remember you very much. Back from last time. Melissa Blankenberger, thank you so much. You're welcome. No, yeah, I split. Like I went out to California twice, right? Like I went out. Like I'm from the Philadelphia area, okay. But I went out to Los Angeles like in '87, and then I came back like in the early '90s. I was living around Maryland and DC, and then I split again. Yeah, I left again. I remember when they had check it out. I was in Maryland, right? When they had the riots in Los Angeles, like in either 91 or 92. I can't remember what year it was. But when they had the riots in LA, when they're tearing it up, they had like a little mini riots in DC. And I remember when they torched the Church's Chicken. Right up there near, like, right before it comes into, like, Tacoma Park and stuff. I don't know, like on Georgia Avenue or something like that. I don't know if anyone's old enough to remember that or if anybody's from D.C., but they had, like, a little mini riot there. They tried to start it up, but then it got put down pretty quick. But I remember all that. And then I went back afterwards, right? And then ended up staying out there. I didn't know there was going to be an earthquake there. There was an earthquake there. I went there. I'm minding my own business. I'm working. I'm doing my own thing. All of a sudden, an earthquake hits at like at 5:30 in the morning. It was in January 1994. And I cleaned up earthquake damage for about 9 months. They had people working 14-hour days. They're pulling guys out of the bars, saying, "Get out of here. We need you to pick up this pieces of this freeway that fell down." I had never been in an earthquake in my life. It's the first one. The 6.8 magnitude. I was so scared, dude. Everybody was. Everybody was scared. Anyone that said that they weren't scared in that earthquake is not telling you the truth. That people talking about they're going to go back to Connecticut and live. They're not going to stay there. I was like, yeah, take your little trust fund baby ass and go back to Connecticut. Meanwhile, I'm going to pick up this freeway. I'm going to jackhammer this stuff up and scoop it up, put it in the garbage can, and I'm going to get paid my $15 an hour. That was a long time ago, but that was a lot. They paid good money to clean up that earthquake damage. Sometimes when really bad things happen, you can make a lot of money. Roy Garrison said hi. Devin Butt said, yeah. Melissa Blankenberger, you're up top, like top 5, you know? Really? You're my 5th favorite YouTuber. Really? Thank you, Miss Blankenberger. Muchas gracias, Senora. Or I thought I would just come on for a little while. I'm not so sure how long I'm going to stay. I have to come on at least a couple times a week to let people know that I'm still around. I'll tell you what, if I wake up in the morning, it's a good day. You are my 5th favorite YouTuber. That's wonderful. Thank you. That makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. What do you think, Ashley?
Okay.
I wonder what it'd be like to be born in 1985. I guess if you're born in 85, that would make you what? I guess that would classify you as a, well, if you believe in generations. I kind of don't, but if you do, I guess that would make you an older millennial. It's different for you guys. You guys grew up with the internet. You grew up with the dial-up and all that stuff, and MySpace and all that stuff. Older millennials in general. It's the younger people. What do they call them? Generation Z. They were like adolescents and stuff when the smartphone came out. See what I'm saying? That's different. I don't know how I would have turned out if I had a smartphone in my hand with the internet connection. I don't know if I would have done as well in school. We didn't have that. We didn't even have flip phones. We didn't have the internet. We had just computers that you could just store information on or do accounting or something like that. We had like a computer lab, like with like 4 or 5 computers. There was no such thing as the internet for the public. When I went to high school back in the early 80s, I think they had the Alternet. I mean, they had professors at different universities talking to each other. I guess in UCLA, Stanford, they're talking to some scientists in Salt Lake City and stuff like that. Maybe talking to some people in Connecticut or Massachusetts. But these were all like rocket scientists and stuff talking to each other, college professors. I mean, they had some form of, they had a network where people could talk, but it wasn't for the general public back then. I think maybe some military contractors might have been able to talk on that network. I believe it was called the Alternet. I'm not sure. I'd have to do some more research. Does anyone know? I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I think it was 1990. I think I was about 24 years old in 1990. I think, yeah, 24 years old. I'm pretty sure that's the first time that I heard about the World Wide Web. That was kind of fun. It was like the Wild West when it first came out. There was all kinds of wackos on the internet then. Paneled Bucket 3953. Hi there. Okay, I got my favorites. I got my list of favorites. When you get bored of watching me, would you like to know a real interesting channel to watch? There's a guy who says I'll tell you the channel name. The channel name is McHenry Cruiser. McHenry Cruiser. Cruiser with a C. He says that he is a schizophrenic rock star with a jawline chiseled by Zeus himself. That's what he says. Check out McHenry Cruiser. He's pretty funny. Black Bigelow is a fun channel. He travels the country. He's for real. He's the most unfake person on YouTube. Another person you might like that's on TikTok, a different platform, is Miss Fucking Wonderful. Check her out. She's a professional at live streaming. And let me think, who else? Who else would I recommend? Reckless Girl. Check out Reckless Girl on TikTok. You'll be glad. You'll thank me in the morning. She's funny. She's really funny. Paneled Bucket 3959. Thanks for coming in. And thanks for liking and subscribing too. Liking and subscribing to Hollywoodland22 is a wonderful thing. It makes you a driver. It makes you a winner. You guys are funny. So where's everybody from? All over the country? You guys staying up late? Damn, it sure is hot in here. I wonder why. Maybe because I am up in a high-rise building and everybody has their heat on. We're going to go for a little walk in the dark. We're going to turn on the lights. We're going to see what the temperature is. Oh my God. We're going to have to do something about that. La 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 la. Ashley, what would you like the temperature on?
74.
74? Okay. Okay, here we go. 74, not cool, right on heat. Yeah, it sure was a little bit, right. Here we go. Heat. There we go. Well, there we go. Wow, I think my hair's growing back. It is growing back. Wow. That's amazing. I had it cut so short. You guys are wonderful. Thank you for coming in tonight. I got a pretty good crew tonight. Okay, it's time to turn off these lights. Oh my God, are you afraid of the dark? Are you? Are you? How do you like my floor? What about my wall? How about my ceiling? Is that interesting? How about my carpet? Do you like my carpet? I do. Hello, I'm back. Wonder if anybody else is going to come in tonight. What do you think? I could stay up all night, but I'm not going to. You'll probably come on in the morning. Do a morning stream. Catch all the old people that wake up first thing in the morning. The older people. Some people are up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You know, you have a weird combination. You have a combination of like senior citizens that get up in the morning like real early, like 5, drinking their coffee and watching TikTok or YouTube or any of the other. I have other channels too on other platforms. But you also have some of the strange people that stay up all night. And they're all wigging out until like 6 or 7 in the morning. They're talking about all kinds of creepy subjects. If called upon by this great nation, will you uproot your life in order to fight inner city crime in Jakarta? Not there. I don't think so. Forget that noise. I've had some close calls already in Philadelphia. And Los Angeles. Yeah. Yeah. In my own country. I'm not going to Jakarta. Jakarta. Fuck that noise. Make Jakarta great again. Isn't that one of the most densely populated parts of the world? I think it is. What do you think? You know, I wouldn't even live in Singapore. Did you know they have no juries there? If you get in trouble in Singapore, you get to see one judge, and that person might have had a bad day. One person decides your fate if you have to go to court in Singapore. Won't catch me visiting there. Not interested. I'd rather live in eastern Wyoming and freeze my ass off. Well, I'd like to tell you guys all something about my favorite drink here. I don't know if you can read that. It's a little bit worn, but it's called Powerade. You know, when I'm thirsty, I just grab a bottle of Powerade and have a drink. Powerade. It's cool. It's refreshing. And when I drink Powerade, it makes me feel like a real winner. A winner, I said. I'll show you a little something before I go. This, well, this is a 2011 Nokia burner phone, and it still works. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might keep it. I might keep it, Ashley Lee, who sings on Star Maker. You might have heard of her. We got 4 people in here. Where are you from? Are you from Jakarta? Are you from Papua New Guinea? Are you from Los Angeles? Are you from Las Vegas? Is anybody in here from Modesto, California? That's a real fun town. Italy. Where? Sardinia? Tuscany? Rome? Napoli? Palermo? Is that really Italy or is that Sicily? It's nice there. Oh, Milan. They have a very old, world-renowned medical school in Milan. I can't remember what it's called, but my physician, my primary care physician in Los Angeles, went to that school and became and studied to be an internist in that medical school in Milan. And it's a really old medical school that's been around for a long, long time. I don't know what it's called though, but everybody knows about it. It's an ancient medical school. It might have been there for a couple hundred years. I don't know. Maybe 300. You might know the name of it. I'd have to look it up. He was from, he grew up in, he was from Tel Aviv, Israel, but he went to school there. View message. Nice and cool guy. Oh, really? Is that so? Okay. Oh. Okay. Well, come on, ask me some questions. I love to answer questions. Just as long as those questions will not get me bananaed off of YouTube. You can ask me all kinds of questions. Ask me questions about my country, about the United States of America. Go ahead, shoot. Ask me about them. I'll answer all your questions. The good, the bad, the ugly, everything you wanted to know about the United States of America. Why we are the way we are. Why Maduro gets treated the way that he does. why the United States took care of that business it needed to take care of in northwest Nigeria. Ask me about that. Why did we do that? Yeah. Well, it's been real and it's been fun. I'm going to probably see you guys tomorrow, maybe tomorrow morning. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for spending some time with me and my faithful assistant, Ashley Lee, even though she did not show her face today. I shall return. I shall return. Probably, maybe tomorrow, later on in the morning. Okay? You guys take care of yourselves. Stay safe, no matter where you are. And just be grateful that you get up in the morning. That means that it's a good day if you get up in the morning. It really is, no matter where you are. You guys are beautiful. Thanks for coming in. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.